Russia is not a friendly character on the world stage. This is, without question, our #1 geopolitical foe. They fight every cause for the world's worst actors. The idea that he has some more flexibility in mind for Russia is very, very troubling indeed.
That was then Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney back in 2012, criticizing then President Barack Obama for not being hawkish enough on Russia. A decade ago, Romney's position used to be the orthodox one for Republicans, that Russia is a malignant actor on the world stage and that attempts to reset our relationship with Russian President Putin, those were misguided. But something changed just a few years after Romney said that. Paul Manafort, the Republican operative who helped push pro-Putin candidates in Ukraine, Paul Manafort took on a new challenge here in the United States, getting Donald Trump elected president. In 2016, Manafort joined the Trump campaign, first as the guy to get Trump the necessary delegates at the Republican National Convention, and then as Trump's campaign chairman. Under Manafort's leadership, Trump publicly asked, quote, "Why do I have to get tough on Putin?" And he tweeted that Russia leaked the DNC's stolen emails because, quote, "Putin likes me." Manafort also attended that now infamous Trump Tower meeting with a Russian lawyer who was allegedly offering dirt on Hillary Clinton to the Trump campaign. But Paul Manafort's ultimate gift to Putin came at the Republican National Convention in 2016, when the Trump campaign worked to alter the official party platform to be softer on Russia. According to a report by the Daily Beast, in meetings drafting the platform, a delegate supporting Ted Cruz proposed language that called for providing lethal defensive weapons to Ukraine. The Trump campaign then reportedly tabled that amendment so that they could work on the language. Quote, when the language came back up after consultation with Trump's staff, the section called merely for appropriate assistance to Ukraine. From lethal defensive weapons to appropriate assistance. The amendment became significantly softer on opposing Russian aggression once Trump's campaign, which was being run by the guy who worked side by side to get Putin puppets elected in Ukraine, once the Trump campaign got its hands on it. Now, Paul Manafort was eventually pushed out of Trump's world after his corruption and obvious ties to Russia reportedly became too much, even for Trump and his inner circle. But Manafort's legacy of a Republican Party that makes appeasement of Vladimir Putin one of its priorities, that legacy lives on to this day.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper.
Very shrewd, very capable. I have enormous respect for him. I've been criticized for saying that. No, I have enormous respect for him. He is very savvy, very shrewd.
It'd be worth asking yourself, since it is getting pretty serious, what is this really about? Why do I hate Putin so much? Has Putin ever called me a racist? Has he threatened to get me fired for disagreeing with him?
Franklin Foer is a staff writer at The Atlantic, and he has written extensively about Paul Manafort's ties to Ukraine. Frank, I would call you a resident Manafortologist. I was rereading this seminal piece you wrote for The Atlantic I'm not sure it was for The Atlantic. It was in 2016, and it was a kind of an exhaustive exploration into Paul Manafort's work. And I want to quote from that piece and get you to react to that, given the events that are unfolding today. Paul Manafort spent nearly 7 years commuting to Kyiv. Over that stretch, Manafort remade Ukrainian politics and helped shift the country into Vladimir Putin's sphere of influence. It is kind of staggering to me now that we look at what Putin is doing in Ukraine and the claims he makes to Ukraine. How much Manafort's work in these critical periods, both with Trump and with Yanukovych, was instrumental in creating kind of pro-Putin sentiments, both here and in Ukraine.
Well, it's true. I mean, Manafort essentially created the status quo that Putin would like to return to. Manafort helped install an oligarchical system that was getting rich off of Putin and in turn doing Putin's bidding in Ukraine. And in so doing, he ran campaigns that mimicked a lot of conventional Republican campaigns in the past in terms of playing on ethnic divisions and linguistic divisions in the country. And one of the ways in which he was able to elect Yanukovych president was that he divided the country between the Russian-speaking half and the Ukrainian-speaking half. And it's just so striking to see how Putin's invasion of Russia and the events of the last 6 years have erased these differences that Manafort had helped to stoke. But his role in Ukrainian history is a nefarious one, and he was, as you said, helped install this order that reigned for years that was essentially did Putin's bidding.